Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here with my man Kev. Let's see if we can add him on. What's going on, everybody? Hey, what's up, Al? Waiting for my man Kev to get on. Tonight we're going to talk about coaches. How you want me to hit him with it? I ain't going to do it right now, Al. You know, we be freestyling in the office, but not right now. Not right now. I ain't trying to get clowned. So today we're gonna be talking about coaches and how they can boost you. There's my man Kev. Let's see if we can get him on here. See if we get these shares going too. Hey, there he is.
Nah, come on, man. Why you always killing my robot, man? For real.
You got robot to the beat though. Get rhythm with it, man.
You trying to say I ain't got no rhythm?
Just in that moment.
That's all right. I'm the shy guy with no rhythm.
Hey, you can't be awkward if you got rhythm, right?
Well, yeah. I'm owning it though. I'm owning it.
Hey, own it, man. Own it. How you doing today, bro?
Oh, pretty good. Hey, everybody. How you doing out there? It's your man J Kev with my man
Leif Taylor.
Here, helping you brand and build and brand, level up to that bad and bougie lifestyle. No, not bad and bougie. We don't want you to be bad and bougie. No, we want you to be good and I don't know, savory. I don't know, but we're just here having a little fun.
What's up, Jonathan?
Today's discussion topic. We're going to be talking about life coaches, life coaching, and what's kind of gotten me on this trajectory tonight. This topic is that a number of things. I was just thinking about how life coaching, the industry is starting to transition and blow up and transition into the masses as far as being a legitimate career stance. It's starting to become more legitimate. And I just thinking how this it's funny how this stuff happens, because I can remember when I was in school, coming up, if you said you wanted to be a personal trainer, you were kind of looked at funny and laughed at. And now there are personal trainers opening up their personal studios and gyms all over the world, and they're living good. Some of them are making six figures and above. So, and then I was just thinking about massage therapy, some of these other industries that when they first start out, people laugh. And then after a while, they become legitimate because people see the benefit of them. And a lot of these things are what the one percenters already know, and have been implementing in their lifestyle for time memorial. It's just that the masses, because of access through tools and platforms like the internet, now get to watch and see and look and leer at what the one percenters are doing. So many of you may not be having that 1% pocketbook, that bank account right now, but there are still 1%er habits and 1%er things that you can incorporate in your life that'll help you level up wherever you may find yourself. This is one of the things. This is a passion of mine, in that that you live, you learn, you seek how to live the 1%er lifestyle wherever you find yourself. So I'm speaking to all of you all out there who are in pain, who may, for whatever reason, may not be experiencing the lifestyle that you want to experience, who may find yourself in a spot in life where things aren't bad, but they're not where you want it to be. So just, I'm just going over some articles and stuff in Forbes, the Huffington Post, just talking about some things like, if you notice your confidence is not where you want it to be, if you're lacking clear vision at a point in time, if you notice that your patterns, or people notice that your patterns aren't supporting your goals, if you're in a huge transition, if you notice that you're irritable and frustrating, these are just a few things that manifest itself, indicating that you need, or you may want to look for or seek outside help that will help hold you accountable and help drive and push, inspire, encourage, and motivate you through some of these tougher moments in your life. So, let me get back to the points real quick of why this is so poignant and why this is a timely subject. And that Two Shy Guys at the Mic, this is really one of the cornerstones of what we do when we talk about leveling up.
Yep.
We're having open and transparent conversation as we look and seek to find ways to level up in our lives, and hopefully to leave breadcrumbs and uncover some things with you all as you level up in your life in different areas. I know a lot of you out there are at exponentially higher in the pyramid of inequality with respect to many areas of my life. So I always look and peer and peek at what you all are doing so that I can learn how to level up in other areas of my life. But anyway, number one, I was thinking about pastors just because of the weekend in churches.
Okay.
And how, given that we live in a world that's more spiritual and less religious now, pastors have kind of been thrown to the wayside. So to speak, just to paint a broad brush perspective or observation about the matter, pastors are often thrown to the wayside. So that leaves us open to the Tony Robbins and to the what's the Oprah Winfrey's and on the old station or OM station. That leaves us open to these people. So just thinking about that. And another thing that's got me on this trajectory is that I was listening to the audiobook Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk.
Okay.
And just looking at his position and how he's pivoted and placed himself in a position to speak with authority, and that he's reached some levels and that he's now dispensing nuggets and knowledge to help others kind of realize where they're at. And if you're one who is very content with your life, you're happy, but you also want to maximize, optimize what your potential and capability is. You're just not satisfied with where you're at. You're happy. If you got hit by a bus, it's no big deal. It's, you lived a good life. But at the same time, at the same time, you still seek to do better tomorrow than you did yet today, and just learning from the pain and some of the mistakes you made in the past. So just thinking about that book's kind of got me in this mode of thought right now. Another thing is I had a conversation. Our conversation yesterday kind of got me going this way, but after we got off, I did a private Facebook call with a guy I had met on IG, and because I plan on bringing him on for an interview, and lo and behold, his mentor is a guy that I had listened to years ago about getting my health and wellness in line. And when I listened to this guy probably about 5 or 6 years ago, this guy was just starting out, and I saw where he started. And then the guy I was talking to last night was giving me the inside scoop on where he is now, and the money and the lifestyle and everything. So it's like, oh man, it's like I was listening to this guy 5 or 6 years ago, and he's doing what we're doing now. And then the other guy I was talking to last night was giving me the inside scoop
Yeah.
on why it is that this particular person, his name is Sean Croxton. He used to have a podcast called The Underground Wellness, which focused on the niche of the health and wellness market. But he's now transitioned himself over into the general market of being more of a life coach, for lack of better terminology right now. But he was just giving me the details about the importance of having a mentor, and just me having the conversation with him last night. Really, even though we know a lot of stuff, you still have to rinse and repeat, and get this information from as many angles and points as possible. And he just brought home he just made it resolute and clear on why it is that each and every one of us at some point in our life, at various points in our life, may need advice, counsel, connection, networking, and collaboration with somebody who is a little further down the road, or who is better at explanation than execution. Believe it or not, even though I do with much contempt sometimes look at the fat, overweight personal trainer in the gym sometimes, but at the same time, I still have to acknowledge that there are some people that are excellent at explaining and getting across ideas and points and articulating, inspiring, motivating, encouraging, versus actually executing themselves.
Yeah, well,
so
I would even have a comment on that one, and then we'll get to some of the comments that everybody's been making.
Okay.
I used to be like that because I know, like I said, I went to school for personal training, athletic training, those things, and one thing that I know when I got into it full time is it's almost like the mechanic that works on cars, right? You spend so much time working with other people, like you pretty much either sacrifice yourself by trying to make sure you get in those hours, or you just don't. And I know it was very difficult for me doing the hours. I mean, I would get up and train people at 4 a.m. in the morning, all the way up into probably about 7 p.m. So it's sometimes it's very difficult to do that, but if you're like the type of person that can motivate, and you found your niche, and that's something that you really thrive in doing, then definitely I understand that. By all means, you still need to take care of your personal health. You need to still do those things, but sometimes, man, you get so busy working that you are the last person on your list sometimes, and so I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, I was just throwing it out as a caveat, even though I never I try not to be so hardcore and black and white on things. I do try to have some margin, and do have to be flexible and give room and have understanding. Like you just said, it's like the mechanic, the home improvement guy.
Like what boy Jonathan said, a good barber keeps a nappy head. Hey, because you're so busy chopping other people up. And that's the thing. And that's something that we all need to, and that's why having a personal trainer, life coach, whatever, is a good thing for you to have, because they can make you step out of yourself and like, okay, you need to focus on improving this, and this for your own life, for your own longevity. And once you come to understand that, then you'll start taking better care of yourself. But even still, that's a very difficult thing. I know for myself, I said I was going to start going to bed earlier, but as soon as I said that, I started working more. And so I had to even readjust my schedule from that. And it's like, okay, figure out how I can get in where I fit in, so to speak, in some of the other things.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as you say something, the universe is going to line up and see, well, did you mean that? That's just the way it is. That's just how it operates. That's how it is.
My man Albert hold on, go ahead. That was a great reason.
Well, I was going to say, I just realized, I was thinking about, that's why trainers need trainers. I was just thinking about when I was, sometimes when I train, I would train out with another trainer like Myron Jackson
Yep.
in the Central Kentucky area. Dude's phenomenal. Dude's is a trainer's trainer.
Yeah, he's a beast.
So yeah, just thinking about the one percenters and that, no matter who it is, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, you go, Kobe, the billionaires, the presidents, all these people have. That's why I don't know if you titled the show the way I titled. I sent it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is a secret weapon that they really don't talk. It's just now really coming out on how some of these top billionaires have people who are even worth more than them that are getting in their tails about stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So trainers need trainers. And if you, like I said, with some of the points that I mentioned, if you find yourself in a situation, you may have to get an accountability partner at the very least.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that hold on, let me get some of these comments and then we'll dive right into it.
Yeah.
See, I'll go back. My man Shoemate, he said that he needs a life coach so he can eventually become one. And that's the path that a lot of them take, right? They get good life coaches, they seek out the best, and then they learn from them so they can then implement it somewhere else. So it's almost like they franchise it in a sense, even though it's not a franchise, but you understand.
Yep.
My man Jonathan said I'm something like his life coach. We talk a lot. And then that's the thing about just having a good circle of friends, good circle of people. Sometimes you can coach one another, because really what it boils down to is having somebody that can just, like we talk about all the time, they can tell it to you straight, and somebody that you will listen to. It can be peers, peer to peer, or it could be like somebody that you hire. It could be a mentor that you've grown up with. It's a variety of different people in your life that you can utilize and incorporate to help get you on the right path, to help get you to the next level, to help get you to focus and those kinds of things. Let's see, my man Shoemake, he said pastors have stepped out of the spot. In going back to your comment, however, the mega church pastors, they're the new gurus as well. So you can't necessarily weed them out, because I would put Bishop T.D. Jakes on the guru level. He's one of the top speakers in the nation, and the man, he's doing it. So I would put some pastors in that category. Not all pastors, of course, but some of them are in that category, to where, I mean, you think about it, they have volumes of books, they have a large following, and they just killing the game. In terms of motivating people.
Love them or hate them, they serve a need to the masses and the population. And just from a Christian perspective, biblically speaking, there are, whether you love it or hate it, there are certain individuals who have been called, have a calling of their life or a purpose of their life to influence and move the masses in a positive direction with respect to just living life.
Yep.
I mean, it's one thing to preach the gospel, but it's another thing to live the gospel over, 50, 60, 70, 80 plus years with real people, with real life situations. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of love them or hate them, and some of the faults that many people have, that we all have, they're here to stay, and they serve a need, which is why the life coach, once again, serves a need.
Yeah, see, my wife said it's still a way of them investing in themselves, talking about getting a coach, which is true. I mean, if you think about it, actually, all the top speakers that you can think of believe that they're in the back room speaking to these millionaire athletes on a consistent basis, motivating them to get on the field. They're talking to these business people. If you ever listen to them and them talking about their schedules, then you understand how they're utilized in a corporate setting, in an athletic setting, in an entertainment setting. I mean, all the people that you admire, they're talking to, guaranteed. So it's something that, like, because I know when I was growing up, I didn't quite understand it. But of course, as time went on, it's like, okay, I get it now. I didn't get it then, but I get it now, right? Like I mentioned before, myself and Lamar, we have a business mentor. He comes by. He's on our board of advisors. He gives us, just sage wisdom, right? Just some, gives you things to think about. He's not like your ET, the hip hop preacher, where he's like, "Come on, he's just a laid back, mellow dude, big fluffy white dude. We love him to death. And he's just like a father figure in the sense that it's more about love and that kind of stuff, and just gives us insight and wisdom, and it's definitely been beneficial. It's been helpful, and we try to give the same information back to as many people as possible, because one thing that I understand about mentors and coaches is once you've actually start going down a path, you start seeing patterns, right? You start seeing patterns that you can take from one field and transfer it to another. You may be able to take personal training and put that in a corporate scenario. You can put that in a variety of scenarios, because at the end of the day, it's all overcoming certain obstacles in life. And once you understand the mental triggers that help people get over the hump, so to speak, then you realize that, okay, these skills are transferable to anything. So now you realize that life coaching is more about just transferring those set of skills to get people not even motivated, to get them focused, to get them repurposed, to get them to see their own patterns. And it's a whole variety of things that can be done from a life coach and somebody that's been there, right? When you've been there, when you've made plenty of mistakes, and that's one thing I've noticed over time, as my advice has changed in terms of when people ask about, starting up a new business, what should they do? It's like, man, you need to scrap all of this stuff you're doing right here and focus on this, because I know for a fact that this is not going to work. And it's like, because you've been there, you've done that, and those battle scars are actually lessons that you can teach other people.
Yeah, and what you're doing, go to previous conversations that we have specifically to the underdeserved and to the Black population and to some other races that feel underdeserved, or just populations in general that feel classes that feel under served. The poor man's life coach is the uncle that's going to set you down and shoot it with you straight. Oh, that's another thing that got me thinking was this past weekend I had a conversation with the older guy that I have a lot of respect for, and just the old deacons in church were life coaches, man. Yeah. The old deacons in church, they was the life coaches. You see them up front, but you get them at home or something, and they start speaking real to you. Like, I can't say this over the front, but let me tell you. This is how it really is. This is real life. But I had a conversation. He was just breaking down. We were having a conversation around law and how, and when he was like the first certified Black traffic something inspector in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And how he was called one day to before they had a cutting ceremony at the University of Kentucky. And how he was the one guy that was holding up this ceremony, and they was looking at him like, they was trying to railroad him and everything. He's like, I don't care what you do, go call the big guy. Go call the big guy. They went and got the big guy. The big guy couldn't do nothing. He said, until you do this thing ain't getting done. So he's just talking to me about law and liability and trafficking, like a whole nother subject. But I was just listening to him, and what he was doing was downloading into my brain, downloading into my thought process, the importance of understanding and knowing and having wisdom when it comes to some of the decisions that you make, because you don't know what kind of consequences can result from some of the decisions that you think may be consequential or maybe trivial. And it's like, brother, you don't know. So you always want to make sure that your intentions are pure and that you're always seeking to do the right thing, because things have a way of rippling all the way around to you and biting you in the tail.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's definitely amazing. My man Mwando, long time no see, brother. Glad you joined us
Yeah.
today. He said you guys are such knowledgeable dudes, and you always speak in my language. He gave a good pointer. He said there's a lot of coaching on Udemy that you can buy as well and work through them. He said it's amazing. So it's something that I didn't know that they had life coaching on Udemy. Somebody could go check that out. Or maybe if you're considering being a life coach, like my man Shoemake, maybe you can go check out Udemy, figure out what they're doing, and then you can start implementing it yourself. Because one of the things, going back to what you're saying, but even touching on some of the things, when I said Shoemake, it made me think about him he's doing a drum line. And he's working with a lot of young kids. So he's actually a life coach to those kids. And again, it's about passing on skills, passing on life lessons, passing on different things. And we all need this at some point in our lives along the way. Like you said, it's the conversations with the deacons. It's the like for me, it was always conversations with my grandfather. He always talked about business. There's literally all the conversations I had with my grandfather when I was a kid up to the time that he died was around business, was around managing money, was around, how to do this, how to, present yourself. It was around all of these things, right? And that's one of the conversations that we consistently had on a regular basis. I think I lost my man, Kevin, but I'll keep going. Oh, there he is. He's back. You paused me for a second. But it's just those kinds of things that that we all have, that we've all been instilled with, and it's when we start gleaning that information and utilizing it that we can pass it on to somebody else. Maybe I know one thing with the life coaches that they have an actual structure that they operate under, and that's something that you can develop over time. Like you said, you can get coached to be a coach. One of the things I always think about was Lisa Nichols. We went to go see her speak a while ago. It was several years ago, actually. She was in Lexington, and she talked about how she got her start. And this woman told her that her classes were $35,000.
Whoa.
Yeah. And she was like, she was a single mother, and she was like, I don't have 35,000. And the woman looked at her point blank and said, my price does not diminish for your lack of resources. But guess what she did, though? She found the resources, she took the class, and now that's what she's doing herself. So
wow.
So again, but that's a life lesson in and of itself, right? If you want something bad enough, you'll figure out how to do it. And a lot of times we're looking for the hookup, and sometimes the hookup is not what you need. Sometimes you need to work to get to the end goal. You need to take time, right? A lot of times we want things fast in a hurry, and it's like, well, you don't have the resources right now, but you better go get them, because guess what? My price is not changing, right? And so for her, that was a hard lesson to learn, but it was a lesson that she learned, and she was able to benefit from that long term.
Yeah, a hard lesson learned is a lesson well earned,
Yeah.
And you will. Yeah, it's one that sticks. It's life changing when you learn those hard lessons. Like you said, one of the things about the hookup is the hookup creates dependency, and it creates an impoverished and poverty state of mind, in that you always have your hand out, and in the process of having your hand out, you always look to the one feeding you with indignation and contempt. It's funny how that works. The hand that feeds you is the one that you hold in contempt, because you recognize you're enslaved and tethered to that, that you're dependent. You're tethered to that person's or that thing, that the gratitude that is given to you. So yeah, a lot of these life coaches and stuff, they're very important and very needed.
Yeah, Jason said a handout is much less beneficial than a hand up, and that's so true. That's so true. It's actually working for things make you value it more. When something's given away freely, you tend not to value it at all, which is always the conundrum when working with people that have lesser resources. Is you want to help them out, but then again, you understand the psychology around it, and so you get in a whole mess of different things. I know it's another topic, but it just I've thought about this plenty of times. For example, I have a friend. He's a trainer, He works with athletes on the NCAA Division I level, and he gives classes. I think I talked about this before. And so he did a free boot camp, a free seminar in his neighborhood. Nobody showed up. He started charging. Everybody wanted to get in. So there you go. Anyway, get to some of your points, brother.
All right, some of the points that I wanted to kind of circle back to, I kind of skimmed over them.
Okay.
These are some ways that they're not, the list isn't exhaustive as always, and it may not be on point for everybody, but these are some pain points that may indicate that you need maybe a life coach if you can afford one, or if you got to go out and find the bootleg life coach like your pastor or your auntie, Big Mama's house. I always talk about Big Mama's house. Well, not bootleg, my bad. Well, the life coach is the bootleg of the pastor's role, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because here's one thing I would like to say about that. Sometimes we talk about what we can afford. Sometimes it's a matter of what we can't afford, right? In terms of what we can't afford not to have, right? So if you think that you need some of these things, if you need information, because that's one thing that comes with some of these coaches. And again, you got to verify them. You got to look at their references and all of before you take on anybody as a life coach. Definitely do that. Even the guy that was our mentor, we put him through a vetting process because we really didn't know him when we first met him. Found out he was an awesome dude. But, again, that stuff takes time, right? Because essentially you want to have somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can count on and depend on, and somebody that won't lead you astray. So that stuff takes time, and you have to work through that. But again, going back to my point, make sure that you have to realize what it is that you need in your life. It may seem stupid to other people. It may not make any sense to somebody else, but if that's something that you need, then you figure out a way to get it into your life. My man Jonathan.
Yeah, most people.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say most people, when it comes to life coaching, most people in your life may see it as something ridiculous or not a necessity. But as we're talking about now, having a life coach is one of the better things you can do for yourself as far as hiring counsel. You're usually going to point to Jonathan's statement about Rodney James' chair. Yeah, I've been in his chair a few times.
Yeah, that's a good dude, man. And it's funny. It's like Jonathan and I were talking about that. And that's one of the reasons why I vibe with Rodney a lot, because we talk about business. When I go get my hair chopped by Rodney, it's all about business. We talk about how to grow, how to expand, how to help other people, those kinds of things. And those are the kind of people that you need in your life if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to expand your mind, and you don't want to be stagnant. You got to have that in your life.
Yeah, and before I get started, I just want to reiterate that just about every person on the planet at some point needs a life coach. Whether you're a single mom, whether you're a single dad, but whether you're co-parenting, divorced, whether you're married and successful, even wherever you're going to find this message, this talk, at some point we all need a life coach. Here's some points in the Forbes magazine article saying that your confidence is not where you want to be. If you're finding that your confidence isn't where you want it to be, you may need somebody to help you build and instill some confidence in you. And I got an example for this. When I was in college, I was horrible at public speaking. I don't think I've told the story here, but I've told it in other places.
Was it like boxing?
Man, it's worse. It was worse. It was so worse. It was so bad that I had to give this presentation in front of class, and I knew I was. But it's one thing to bomb, but it's one thing to be up there talking, and then there's a back stream in your head going, "Man, you are really bombing, boy," and you just sweating, and people just looking at you. It's like this sucks.
I've seen a meltdown happen. I've seen a meltdown happen.
But it was so bad that I had a friend in class, and his name was Mo, and he's like a big black guy. He was former military, and he's like, "Bro, let me help you out." So for the next I don't know, couple of weeks, months, he would pull me to the side, and he would take me to the student center, and he would make me do the presentation. He would record it. We would sit down and
That's what's up.
painstakingly
That's
listen
what's
to
up.
it.
He's like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be your coach
and then
whether you want one or not. He's like, I'm gonna take my time out as a student to help you.
oh man, yeah, he did it, and it was just crazy because over the course of those weeks of working with him and him working with me, it's like my confidence built up, and you could tell a significant difference in my presentation, articulation, and standing up in front of people. So that's one example, and my confidence rose.
Yeah.
So if you finding that you may need some confidence, you got to get a life coach. You should think about it.
Get
What, man?
into it. Now I'm just thinking, man, it's funny. I remember one time, because like, you start getting your junior, senior year in college, you have to do a lot of presentations. And I remember this one woman, she was an actual woman in the class, and she just had a complete meltdown. I'm talking about crying, everything. It was like,
That's hard.
wow. Yeah, I feel so bad for her because it's painful to watch. So I know
It
the
is.
dude Mo was like, man, this was so painful. I can't go through this again. He said, I'm doing this for my own health. I'm gonna help Kevin now because I cannot bear to watch this yet again.
He started donating his time and everything, boy. I appreciate him to this day.
That's what's up. That's
If it
what's
wasn't
up.
for him, he made a big impact on my life in that regard. But it just goes back to paying it forward, and when you see an opportunity, take it and just give back. And you just don't know how that'll resonate in somebody else's life.
Yep.
The power of life
true.
coaching,
So true.
and that you're invested in somebody else's life, and you don't know how to resonate back to you.
That's so true.
So confidence. That's definitely. It don't have to be a person either. By the way, it could be a book.
Yep.
Books and speeches and stuff too. Number 2, you're lacking a clear vision, or your vision is so big that you get overwhelmed. You may feel overwhelmed. I've had this happen, and I've ran across other people where it's happened to, where either one, you don't have a clear vision about what it is that you want to do, how you want to live your life, what it is that you're here for, your purpose. This is why we spend a lot of time talking about that, knowing yourself and knowing what your innate tendencies and knowing what your innate heart is drawn to, so that you will have you can help get that clearer vision about what your purpose is and what you want to do. You may be able to talk good, but you may have the ability to talk good for a reason. So you can live out.
Even thinking about that, I was just going through the process of thinking through some of the coaches. I know a lot of people go to seminars and those kinds of things, but they don't necessarily give you the same impact as it does having a one-on-one conversation with somebody that can guide you. Like, for example, personal training. One of the things that always marveled me, even though I was a trainer, was the fact that people would pay me to help them work out. It's like, okay, I mean, we go to the same gym, but then you realize that sometimes it's a confidence boost. It's certain things, the dialogue, because a lot of the people I trained, it became more personal than it was about the weights. It was more about their life and how they can, manipulate their life to get better results in the gym, how they stay consistent. It was a variety of different things. And as those things went on, I started to understand again more and more the importance of having somebody that would push you. Like for me, like I was always super hard on people, right? I didn't take any excuses or anything like that. And so I was always the one pushing them beyond the pain, so to speak. After sets, one more, it's like, I understand that you're tired, but these are the results that you want, and you got to get it. And just going through that process, again, it's all about psychology, man. All of this stuff is about psychology, understanding your own psychology, understanding the psychology of the person you're helping, and helping them get past the obstacles that we often place in our own way.
Yes, because then you're hitting on it. The one of the importance, or one of the reasons why life coaching even exists and more mentorship even exists, is because each person has a personal psychology about them, and it takes help. It takes relationship to help understand and work through and live and get through some of the psychology of the knowing. We all know we should eat right, go to the gym, we should do this, that, and the other. But there is some psychological and also sociological factors that may be standing in the gap in between you knowing and then you actually doing. And one of the, like Jason People said, a coach can come along and give you the outside view perspective that you may need to help you take a shortcut or reach your goal quicker and go further, faster than what you may have done if you were just out there willy-nilly doing it by yourself. So that's one of the reasons why you want to consider getting some outside help as far as a mastermind that we talked about, collaborating, counsel, all this stuff is very important. And then the opposite of that is having your vision is too big. There are some people who do have big visions, but it's like, where do I start? You're like, well, how do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece. Well, what does that mean? Well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to do this. Well, let's reverse engineer, step back, and start looking at each brick. And then we're going to work on this brick. When you get done with this brick, we're going to work on this brick. And that's the pain that, especially in the world we live in, nobody wants to look at each brick. Slab on the brick, slab on the brick.
Yeah, if you focus on it like that, it'll definitely feel that way. My wife said you also have to be willing to take the truth, and even if it's painful to hear. And going back to what you're talking about, sometimes, figuring out what the person's goal is, and it might not even be suitable, right? And what's going on, Floyd? And what I'm saying is sometimes our goals aren't suitable because we haven't really vetted the ideas quite yet, meaning that I haven't really gone through the process of thinking about what this means, what this is about, how I feel about it, or those kind of, a lot of times, it's like, oh man, I want to be a super rap star, right? And it's like, okay, then you start going through what that actually means, the things that you have to do. And sometimes it's really a matter of like, it's not what you think it is all the time. And a life coach can help you navigate that. It can help you get to the truth in a quicker fashion. And so, again, like, for example, I always use myself. We talk to a lot of people that are interested in going through accelerators. Like, again, the fact that we've been through like 5 business accelerators, which is almost unheard of. I got to see what the record is, because we've gone through a whole lot of startup accelerators. We've been through a lot of different programs. So people always call us and ask us for advice on how to get the funding, how to go through the process, what should they expect. And, and then when we talk to them, it's like a lot of things we can troubleshoot immediately. It's like, nah, this ain't gonna work, bro. They don't care about this. The ideas that you have is not gonna fly. And we can pretty much get into the mind of the investors or those kind of people to help them guide themselves. It's like, because again, sometimes you just don't know. Before we went, we didn't know. We didn't know necessarily what to expect. You can read stuff sometimes, but it doesn't, until you get a personal feel on how something was, it's like, and then going through it, it's like, it was a lot different than you expected. And now you can tell people about those experiences, especially if they're coming from a background where that world doesn't even exist.
Yeah. Another one is your patterns are not supporting your goals. So this is where a life coach can come in and say, you know what? I know you want to lose that 5 pounds, but that cheeseburger right now is not supporting you losing 5 pounds.
Cheesecake ain't helping either.
So this is why you need a life coach in whatever area of life that you choose to have one for, and that we all have moments in our life where our behavior, our habits, our patterns aren't matching up, and it's not going to get us to the goal that we said that we want. So you need somebody to come along and say, you're not going to get there, regardless of how much you cry about it. You just ain't going to happen. So you go, one or two things going to happen. You're gonna have to get a new goal, or you're gonna have to change some behavior. One of the two. And a life coach will just set reality on you in a minute.
Yeah,
That's one of the
Jason
reasons.
said many times we don't know what we don't know until we try to do what we don't know. And yeah, and I mean that's life. And one of the things I did want to say, especially pointing to what he said, is a life coach is not a babysitter. If you're looking for
No.
somebody to babysit you, then you got the wrong person. A lot of the
Yeah.
stuff, I mean, everything still boils down to you. It's a coach. It's not a doer, right?
Yeah.
You know, as much as
Yes.
people talk about Calipari and what he does with the UK basketball team, he's not the one playing on the court. He's not the one that's going to the NBA to play. So at the end of the day, it's up to the individual who's being mentored, and make sure that you find somebody that's suitable for you. Don't just grab
Yes.
somebody just because they say they're a coach, and you might not vibe with them. The information that they're giving might not be correct. Again, going back to what I said earlier, vet the person that you're looking to get you coached. And also, if you're lazy, then that's something that you have to overcome as well. There's different tiers to this thing, right? We talk about leveling up. There's levels to the game. So one coach may be good in one area, but once you get into certain different areas, you need to find specialists that focus on a particular criteria or particular industry or a particular vein that you're trying to go down. So definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes we forget that, like I said, at certain points you may need somebody. It's like a Batman belt to a kid,
Yeah, yeah.
You may need this for this situation, may need this for that situation. But ultimately what you want to do is, over the course of time, is build a network, build a team of lifestyle coaches and advisors. Over the course of your life, actually what you want to do is build a council. Just like a king or a queen on the chessboard, we talk about leveling up from the state of pawnhood to that of prince or princess, on up to king or queen by the time you leave this earth. That's one of the goals that we hope that you have, is that by the time you leave this earth, that you have leveled up to the 1%. You've leveled up to the level of king and queen in your life, and that by the time you get there, you have a team of coaches and counsels that will help you maneuver through these treacherous waters. That you've built a tribe, a community of people that will help you get to where you want to go. Um, huh.
You see, Floyd said emulating is helpful also. Definitely true. Again, is about practicing, right? And then Jason, he mentioned, he said that's what he liked about baseball. They had a hitting coach, a fielding coach, and a running coach. It's the same thing with
Yeah.
everything, right? It's like you get a strength and conditioning coach, you get an endurance coach. You get all kinds of different coaches because they specialize in different things. And again, once we get out of those athletics, we don't think about that in our normal everyday life, right? We don't think about, man, it's like, okay, maybe I need a financial coach, somebody to show me the way of how to deal with my money. Maybe I need a real estate coach, somebody that can, show me how to go about finding property and reselling that property, how to talk to potential buyers. There's all kinds of coaches that you can get, and it's usually in a professional setting, but it doesn't always have to be.
Right. Well, real quickly, what's one way you can hack that if you don't have the $35,000 to pay for a individual coach? What's one way that the average person can hack that? And as I was asking, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about groups. And when you brought up investor groups, I was thinking about real estate investor groups.
Yep.
Where you can just go in and build a network. And other masterminds and groups and networks out there too, that you can just kind of just for free pop up, show up, and have a conversation, connect, and collaborate. And you get there's somebody there who will take you by the hand and mentor you or help show you the ropes, so to speak. So that's a simple hack for the night to kind of get going in that direction if you don't have that kind of funds right now to get that 1%er level Tony Robbins out there. But I'll life coach you for half the price of Tony Robbins.
Yeah, and even he said half the price. So I only charge $50,000. Yeah, Shauna said if you're not looking to change or progress, then there's no need for a life coach either. I've dealt with people who actually didn't want to change. They honestly only wanted to continually talk about the problems with no intention of figuring out a solution. Very true. Kendra says, Shauna, you're absolutely correct. You'll be stunned as so as if you begin to hold them accountable for their complacency and no intention or action. Uh, and then, yeah, Jason says SCORE is a good resource. That's for business mentoring. It's usually a lot of retired executives that talk to people about how to get their, get going with their business. They can mentor and advise and those kinds of things. And I believe it's free of charge. And then my man Jonathan said Napoleon Hill, he'll put you on the right frequency till you find your life coach. Yeah, definitely. That's what Kevin was talking about, the mastermind groups and those kinds of things. But one of the things that, again, is actually Shauna pointed it out to something I was thinking is it takes initiative.
Yes.
It takes initiative. If you don't have initiative, then everything we're talking about doesn't even matter. It goes back to Shauna's point. If you're not looking to change, if you don't have initiative to go seek help, if you don't have the initiative to get up off your butt, get on the phone, start researching, start Googling. Now you can even talk into your phone. You don't even have to search for it yourself. You just like, hey, Google, Siri, look for this. If you don't have the initiative to get up and do something, what's going on? Lamont's a coach. He coaches people on finances. So if you don't have the initiative to get up and do these kinds of things, then all the information we're telling you is worthless. And again, It all boils down to you. Every life coach should have the focus of getting you to be a better you. Period.
Yes. Yeah. Just so we'll go over a few more.
Okay.
And then we'll transition.
Okay.
Actually, number 5 is you're in a huge transition. This may be one area, one reason why you might want to get a life coach, or just get a coach in general, is that you may be in a transition at some area in your life, and you may be feeling anxiety about it, fearful. Many of us may be in change and transitions, and one of the ways that you can ease your way into a change or transition is find somebody who's already gone through it successfully, and then follow their lead. I mean, you may not be able to mimic every point, but just follow their lead as far as how to get through it, and that they've already done it.
Yeah, the path is faster when somebody's done it.
Yes. And then number 6, you're craving more purpose. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, in that, okay, you may or may not be okay with where you are in life right now, but there's a deeper calling inside where you're like, you know what, I'm really not maximizing my potential. I know there's more in me, and I want to maximize that out. I want to make sure that I leave everything on the table when I leave here. So if I'm on my deathbed and all my family's gathered around, you're like, peace out, homies. See y'all on the other side. I don't be trying to grab on people talking about I can't go. Yeah, I'm not ready. Right? They say that the graveyard is has the most treasures, the richest place on earth.
Yep.
There's a lot of buried treasures there. So we want you to leave everything on the table and invest in the hearts, the minds, the lives of other people, so that your legacy, so that you never die in this earth realm, in this plane of existence.
Yeah.
That your name, your legacy is felt and lived amongst those who are left behind.
Yeah, it's my business. See you at the crossroads, and that's one of the things, right? And this is the thing that gets a lot of people, especially being that we're social creatures, is failing.
Yeah.
People are failing. People are so afraid to fail. I mean, it's like paralyzing, right? That's why people don't quit their jobs that they hate. That's why people don't change whatever it is that's bothering them, because they're afraid that, okay, if I don't make it, if my business fails, if my idea doesn't work, what is everybody going to say about me, right? If I get up and I make myself look like a fool, then what's going to happen? And that's the thing. Once you have to get past that, and that's something that everybody has to overcome is the fear of
Yeah.
failing and the persistence. It's not just failing. Jason said, fail your way to success. It's not just failing, but you have to be persistent. The only way you can fail your way to success is if you're persistent. You have to be persistent. If you make a mistake, if you failed, if you just run into shambles, you got to figure it out. And that's one of the things, again, it goes back, it takes initiative. It takes a lot of hustle. It takes a lot of initiative to go to, and even humble yourself, right? And that's another aspect of a life coach is you being humble enough to ask someone for help. It's like, hey,
Yes.
I don't know the answers. Can you help me? And that's something that's a hindrance to a lot of people. And not only that is to understand that there's value in getting help and there's value in paying for help. And again, if you don't get that, because trust me, there's a lot of people, they call them consultants. Businesses pay for help all the time. They spend their dollars to make more money. And if we don't get that, if we don't get that understanding, and it's hard if you don't come from a financial background or understand that these things are done, like you said about the 1%, then you won't know that these things are available to you. Pay to get the help you need. Sometimes that's what's required. There are some hacks you can do, but if you need specific help, if you need pinpointed help, pay somebody. Pay somebody to help you get over the hump. What's going on, Dex?
Yes. Yes, I'm glad you said that. There's a lot of people in our feed, in our timeline, and also that the viewers. I know many of you all out there are professionals, and if you have a service, if you have an expertise, don't be afraid to mention it in the comments. Don't be afraid to just say, hey, can I come on and do a jump in with y'all and just talk about my certain area of expertise?
Yep.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here to learn. And that's one of my main reasons for doing this is to actually learn, because I hate headaches, man. I hate having nonsensical headaches, and I need help, and I'll pay. So I do understand the value of somebody else's time and attention.
Yep.
And I don't hold that with contempt or with just by as a grain of salt, because like you said, man, people don't have to spend time or attention with you. So yeah, don't be afraid to pay somebody. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself, spend money on yourself, meaning it doesn't necessarily always have to be a person, but like I said, it could be books, lectures, webinars, ebooks, whatever it is. Make sure that you're investing in yourself every day in some way, shape, or form. But you're getting mentored and coached in some way, shape, or form today. So I'm segueing into closing now.
Yeah, that's what I'm segueing to closing right now, immediately. Mr. Aquaman, he's on the ball.
Yeah,
quick,
I can't help it, man.
Yeah, Vivian says she's not afraid to ask for help. She has no shame. And Floyd said, be feasible most of all. Yeah, everybody, again, we wanted to talk about these things to get you all just to consider something else, right? Consider a different alternative to leveling up. This is something that people do all the time. I know, like, business professionals, they get paid to consult, and which is really a life coach, a business coach, or whatever you want to call it. This is what we're talking about. Get the expertise that you need. You can either seek it out. There are plenty of organizations that have this. SCORE was mentioned. Let's see, the Small Business Association, they help people. There are plenty of government programs that give you information to help guide you and cultivate you and steer you along the right path. However, if you don't seek out the help, then you'll never find it. You'll never come across it. You're not willing to put in blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. If you're not willing to fork over dollars, then sometimes you'll miss out on the boat because you are holding back from yourself. Ultimately, these things are to help you. So again, always research, always make sure that the person that you're utilizing for coaching is going to be beneficial for you. I'd never tell anybody not to do their research on anything. However, if you need help, make sure you get it. Don't be stubborn, don't be cheap, and don't be ignorant. Seek out the help. put forth initiative and make it happen.
Make it happen. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. That's a mic drop on that. Boom.
He's like, I ain't got nothing else to say, really.
I ain't got nothing to say.
All right,
Thanks for
off.
Listening. Thanks for joining us, Two Shy Guys at a Mic, helping you level up and brand and build and live the good life, bad and boozy. maybe not. But we want you to level up to the 1% lifestyle, the Lux life, because life is too short. You want to make sure that you enjoy it as much as you can this way through. And hopefully we said something today that inspired, encouraged, motivated, and kind of helped you broaden your knowledge, deepen your understanding so that you can distill best nuggets of practice, of wisdom that will help you execute. So if anything, execute, take act. Oh, yeah. Yeah, cut it off, man. I'm
definitely
silly now,
please like or share. Share it with your friends. We definitely appreciate you stopping by. Thank you, Kendra. Again, we're just trying to be helpful. Like or share the page. Make sure we get the word out. Anyway, peace and blessings, everybody. We out here.